There are certain Oscar wins that feel inevitable, not because of the performance, but because of the person. Because Hollywood decides it's time. Because the narrative has built to that perfect, glittering moment where movie stardom and Academy prestige collide. In March of 2001, that moment belonged to Julia Fiona Roberts. After a decade of being America's sweetheart, from one of my favorites, Pretty Woman, to My Best Friend's Wedding, to Notting Hill, she walked into the 73rd Academy Awards as the most famous actress in the world, nominated for Erin Brockovich. Her third after being nominated for Pretty Woman, and then Best Supporting Actress for, let's face it, a heartbreaking turn in Steel Magnolias. Don't talk about me like I'm not here. But for Brockovich, it wasn't just another nomination. It was a cultural event. Julie was radiant. The film was a hit, and her win felt like destiny. When she took the stage in that black and white vintage Valentino gown, she delivered a speech that was equal parts charming and chaotic. The kind only Julia Roberts could give.
Thank you ever so much. I'm so happy. Thank you. I have a television, so I'm going to spend some time here to tell you some things. And sir, you're doing a great job, but you're so quick with that stick, so why don't you sit, because I may never be here again. I would like to start with telling you all how amazing the experience of feeling the sisterhood of being included in a group with Joan Allen and Juliette Binoche and Laura Linney and Ellen Burstyn for these last weeks has been, it's just felt like such a triumph to me to be in that list. My name starts with R, so I'm always last, but I still love the list. But I can't believe this is quite pretty. I want to acknowledge so many people that made Erin Brockovich, but let me make my dress pretty. Universal, everybody at Universal, Kevin Misher and Stacy Snyder and Stacy Shear, and I can't believe I'm remembering everybody's name, Jersey Films, Danny DeVito, and everybody over there, everyone I've ever met in my life. This movie was sinfully fun to make, and Albert Finney is my friend and my pleasure to act with. And Aaron Eckhart and Scotty and Jermaine and Brittany and Ashley, all the wonderful actors that played my children, and Marg Helgenberger, and Turn That Clock Off, it's making me nervous. Greg Jacobs, everybody on our crew that were so great, and just a few other people. And, but really the main person, Richard LaGravenese and Susanna Grant, who wrote such a nice script. Steven Soderbergh, hi, there you are. You truly just made me want to be the best actor that I suppose I never knew I could be or aspire to. And I made every attempt. Stickman, I see you. So I thank you for really making me feel so. I love it up here. Yeah. Anyway, I start working for him again in 2 days, so I can get to you later, but Benjamin Bratt, my sister Lisa, my brother-in-law Tony, Elaine Goldsmith-Thomas, who's been my agent since God was a boy, Jeff Berg, my mom, and just Francis and Marcus and Mike and everybody who's watching at home, Kelly, Emma, everybody. I love the world. I'm so happy. Thank you.
The crowd was on their feet. She was officially Hollywood royalty. But here's the question that lingers. Was it the best performance of the year, or was it Hollywood finally paying tribute to the woman who had carried its romantic comedies, its box office, and its brand of optimism for over a decade? That's what we're unpacking today. I'm Matthew Sprosty, and this is A Take on the Academy. Joining me is Jenna Messina, a woman who I never hear ever really give a negative critique about anyone, and who's here to knock America's sweetheart down a peg, or an Oscar. Jenna, without talking about the real reason we're here, let's talk about your relationship with the Oscars first. Are you a fan?
I was a lifelong fan of the Oscars. I watched from the time I was young, could not wait to see the dresses. The red carpet was my favorite part. I watched religiously, did not do shows when the Oscars were going to happen. Like, I was super, super into it, and I loved all of the glitz, all of the glamour. Absolutely, I loved it, like, since the 80s. Yes, absolutely. I'm a huge huge fan of the Academy Awards.
Now, when we say would not do shows, we should point out the fact that you are yourself an actress and a director. What other titles have you held in the entertainment atmosphere?
Costume designer, light designer, producer, playwright, stage manager.
All the above. So you say was, when did you fall out with the Oscars? We're talking about this year in general.
In March of 2001.
For those listening, if the recording sounds differently, it's just because this is our first live show in the new studio. And every time Jenna answers a question, it's like she's on the stand and she leans a little bit forward you look like Amber Heard over there, just trying to get some money out of Johnny Depp. Okay, so this is it. This is why you're like, oh, my buddy has a podcast that talks about the Academy Awards and takes them back, and now I can finally make my stand against Miss Roberts. Do you have anything against Julia Roberts?
As a person, I don't know her, so no, of course I don't.
But, so with Erin Brockovich, why do you think that she won? Do you think, because it wasn't like we're sorry Oscar, because it's not like she deserved to win for Pretty Woman or Steel Magnolias. Do you think it's just because she was at the height of her fame at the time?
Yeah, I do think so. Yes, absolutely. And I think when whoever director, when they got the script and decided we're going to make this movie, I think at that moment they knew what kind of movie they wanted to make. I think it could have been a much more serious movie, even though she's all sassy and, wisecracking. But I think they thought, we want this to be not as deep as it could be. We want people to come out and see it. We're going to put Julia Roberts, up against Albert Finney, who is insane as far as his talent level. And, she's just going to be the wisecracking, fun, like more bubbly. I think they knew exactly what they were doing when they put her in that role. I think they wanted it to be, I think it could have been more, and they were like, we don't want that. We just want people in the seats, and people love Julia Roberts, and she's going to give them exactly what they want, and people love that, whether they admit it or not.
I remember seeing Erin Brockovich in the theater, and I liked it. I enjoyed it. I like those movies where, it's one person against a corporation and everything like that. I think she nailed it.
Oh, I did not dislike
the performance?
Not at all. I would not say she was bad. Yeah, no, absolutely. I watched the movie. I found it as entertaining as, par for the course, I guess. But it was that night. It was when she won that Oscar. No, I think the performance was fine. I think it made me realize that maybe the category should be called favorite performance, not best performance.
I think that's the MTV category for it.
Which is no more. So they can use it now.
They could use it now.
Gone. But it's silly to me. And it's like when I found out there was no Santa Claus. It was like I revered the Academy of Arts and Sciences. And then when that happened, I was like, what? Like, it broke my heart. It was like, you don't care about the craftsmanship or the artistry. and it ruined it for me.
I think so. This is getting near the end of season 6 for this, and we talk a lot about the campaign process and how the campaign process works. And I would liken this Julia Roberts win to, say, an Emma Stone win or a Jennifer Lawrence win, where it seems like they are probably very popular at the parties. They're probably really lovely people to talk to in the room, perhaps even better at the campaign process than some of the other people that we talk about and think about. Like, I think Emma Stone beat out my girl, Amy Adams, one year. She beat out Ruth Negga one year, and Natalie Portman for Jackie, and I was for La La Land, which was just an Emma Stone performance, probably kind of like what we're talking about right now. So with Julia Roberts, I don't doubt that she is just charming as shit in these like parties that she has to go to as she's making the rounds and people are putting their votes from December to February.
It's despicable because that is not what it was supposed to be.
No.
And I thought it was not that. So when I found out, it was like just so deflating. And as an actor myself, and as being invested in performances, I don't think it has to be, I think it can be a funny, lighter role. I think it can be. I can think of 20 other actresses who could have played that role exactly like that. And it would have been a successful film.
Give me one.
Parker Posey. Judy Greer.
You were really quick with that. I didn't think you were going to be. Give me just because I don't want to be like full on negative, give me your favorite part of Erin Brockovich that she played.
This is the corniest part, but when the lawyer was like, she needed her phone number, and she's just like, no, what information do you need? And she's like, I need this, and she's like, no, and then she starts rattling off phone numbers and statistics and the people's relatives and what other diseases they have. I thought that was a very powerful part of the film, and I think Albert Finney's, what they captured of his reaction during that too was like, yeah.
I like her interactions with Albert Finney probably the most. That part, I'm always like, it's probably bullshit. There's no way that she memorized everybody's phone numbers and
probably.
Rah-rah.
But obviously there was a lot of bullshit happening around that film, so...
All right, so that's bullshit. Jenna comes in hot. We're here to give her a voice. We'll see if we're going to talk about a bunch of performances from that year. We're going to see if any of them win, but as I'm sure the listener is already aware, Jenna has a favorite of that year. She has somebody that she wants to put on the mantle. Maybe I agree, maybe I don't. But as people know, there's usually a lot of homework that comes to coming on this show, because one thing about the campaign process that I hate is I think, and two, the voters that I don't like, is that I don't think they do their homework. I think everybody talks to everybody else and goes, who are you voting for? Oh, let me watch that movie. And that's why in the end, there's like 400 to 500 movies that the Academy Awards can choose from, and there's like 18 nominated because they're only watching like 20 movies in order to put in their votes. So there's a lot of people that don't get their just desserts when it comes to the Academy Awards, and that's kind of what the show is about. Is not necessarily like Nancy Kerrigan, Julia Roberts, and trying to like ruin her dreams, because it was a very fun and very like joyous Oscars acceptance speech. But I think if we are shining, what is it like? You got to cut down the oak so the saplings can grow. Like, we're going to cut down Julia Roberts so that we can look at 10 other people and celebrate 10 other actresses, which I think is the positive point of this very negative show.
Absolutely. There's obviously brilliant, brilliant talent that we are fortunate to be alive during the time of, and that's amazing. And she's just not high on. She's not high on that list. I thought she was very funny on her guest appearance on Friends.
Just not Law and Order.
Law and Order was despicable.
I would say, looking at the nominateds, it wasn't a good year of picks for the nominated roles. Like, let's start with, here's a list of the performance. We don't have to dive deep into any of these, but Juliette Binoche for Chocolat. Did you like that?
Yes, I did. I liked it very much.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I like the movie. Again, was it through my lens, an Oscar-worthy performance? I don't know. I don't think so.
It's like a warm mug of warm chocolate of a movie. Like it was one ear out the other, and she's always good. Like she's always well grounded of an actress. Yeah. But I was like, as an Academy Award nomination, same that goes with Joan Allen in The Contender.
Yeah, I love Joan Allen. Don't get me wrong; she's fantastic. I think it is with. I think it's whenever there is some sort of trauma or something, people say, oh, that's brave. So it like Juliette Binoche, when she's like standing up for the woman who's like getting beat up by her husband, and she's across the street from the church and it's Lent and she's selling chocolate. It's like kind of like, oh yeah, she's like fighting the power. And I think weight gets given to that, and it should only be given to that if the performance is good.
Yes, agreed. To me, Joan Allen, so we're saying Joan Allen, the bravery was in the fact that she had a seedy past. It was that she had a threesome in her, in her past, and that was going to ruin her political career because her performance in it was basically just stoicism.
I think that was, it's Joan Allen. We better at least nominate her.
You think that was the name?
Absolutely.
Okay, so then the next one would be Laura Linney for You Can Count on Me, which charming movie, but I think Mark Ruffalo shines in it, and I think he outshines her.
100%. 100% he does. There were some moments, and I mean, I guess not that impactful because I can't think of one off the top of my head, but there were some moments where her character was really just like detailed and raw, and just like I'm watching not Laura Linney. Like in Erin Brockovich, I was watching Julia Roberts the entire time. In Chocolat, I was watching Juliette Binoche. There were moments where I forgot about Laura Linney when I was watching that. But I think Mark Ruffalo was just so endearing in that movie. I'm not sure why she was nominated for leading actress. I could see maybe if they would have put her in a supporting category.
Laura Linney? Mm-hmm. I'm going to remember that note when we go down the line. Those were the here's some unnominated this year that we have: Renee Zellweger for Nurse Betty.
Ugh.
Brenda Blythen for Saving Grace.
I did not see Saving Grace, but I love Brenda Blythen, and I'm sure she was excellent.
She was fun. I mean, it's kind of like, you ever see the TV show Weeds? Mm-hmm. Much like that. I'm going to sell marijuana in order to pay the bills. It was a comedy, so that was great. It's also written by Craig Ferguson, which I did not know. Oh. Yeah. So I would say check it out. It's a fun movie. It wasn't anything. I mean, what we're talking about tonight was, I would say it's not much. I already brought her up once, but Sandra Bullock for Miss Congeniality.
I loved that performance from her. I thought it was fantastic. And I love that Benjamin Bratt was in that movie with her, coincidentally. Again, I knew what I was going to get. I wanted it. That's why I went to see that movie every rainy Saturday on TBS when it comes on. I'm like, oh, yay, it is. And I make popcorn and watch it. It's comforting. It's like this, it's fun. It's, like you said, it's like a warm hug. Like, oh, there's Julia. She's going to be crazy. She's going to fall off her shoes. And, but I don't know if it would have been Academy Award.
I don't think it's,
nomination worthy, but I thought it was great.
One beat that automatically takes me out is that somebody that has a punching bag in her living room would throw better punches. Hands down. The other thing that I don't like about Miss Congeniality is that once she gets the makeover, all her it's like, oh, I don't snort as much anymore. Like, people are still nerdy even if they wear makeup. We're nerdy on the inside, and that's what counts. Right. But that just kind of goes away. Right.
Even when she was nerdy, to me, she's still super cute. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It was never like this is some, gotten beaten with the ugly stick. It was like, this is a very cute woman. And so I think the difference had to be completely drastic because she's pretty. She's cute. So I think that's why they had to be like, okay, we're going to get rid of all of the, nail biting and snorting and all of that. I agree with you, though. I agree with you. But I think that's why they had to make it such a huge difference, because she wasn't an unattractive person in the first place.
Right. No. Janet McTeer for Tumbleweeds.
I saw Tumbleweeds, but I saw it back then.
I'm very curious on how you saw it, because it is such an indie film. And this is 2001, where it was even harder, really.
I think it was at the Cedar Lee.
Oh, okay. Which is our east side. Most of my listeners are California. I have no idea who the listeners are. So
yay.
we are sitting in Cleveland in a little nook in a village by the bay. But yeah, it's a very, very indie, low budget film, which to me is harder. And sadly, you have to shine brighter to stand out in, like, I think something as low budget as Tumbleweeds was, because I don't think like her co-stars were giving her enough really to play off of. And the script, I don't think was there. All right. That's fine. So we're going to move on to who I told you we will be talking about this evening. And you were like, great, I like all of them. Let's see if one of them is who you would pick to take Julia Fiona Roberts' Oscar away from her. The first one I knew nothing about, other than she attacked a photojournalist in an airport one time, and that she made weird music, according to my Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, Jessica Simpson playlist that graduated when I was in college to, like, you know, anything that P. Diddy was producing. So the first one is Bjork for Dancer in the Dark. I feel like it was hard for me because I don't know who Bjork was. I don't know who she is necessarily as a person. So I don't know where the line is of like what kind of performance that she's giving. With Dancer in the Dark, I felt like it was very lived. It didn't feel acted. Like the whole movie kind of felt like the director was like almost behind the camera telling them what to do at what moment. I do like the fact that it was a musical, but it was more of a musical to me did you see Amelia Perez?
No.
Okay, I would say this is the closest to that I've ever seen, where the music's kind of telling the story and giving a feeling, but not necessarily music that's going to make it to your driving playlist. She carries the emotional weight of the movie, which is amazing because she has zero prior film experience. And then I would say the final act is horribly gut-wrenching, and she carries the emotional weight of it all. So to me, after seeing Bjork and Dancer in the Dark, I was like, oh, I guess I am a Bjork fan because this was great.
I was very familiar with Bjork.
Jamming out to Icelandic rock.
Yes.
Nice.
We dug that back in my day. So I knew of her, and she's obviously was a very specific person, like the little voice, like, you know what I mean? Everything, the little voice, all of that, the swan dress. It was like, oh, that's Bjork. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, she did. That's her. So when I saw that movie, I was completely blown away because, as I said earlier, I did not feel not once that I was watching Bjork.
Okay.
It was like I was watching someone I'd never met before, and like it was unfolding like right while I was there. And it was so real. It was so like just from the depths of her soul. That last scene when she's like crying and they're taking her out and she's like, like I can't imagine how she recovered from that, because from my perspective, where she had to go mentally and emotionally to get so deep into that character, to make it so, I believe, every single second of her performance, like that had to take years to get out of, I would think. Because for me as an actor, like when you get to that place where you're not in your, you know, your real mind, and, you know, it gets very profound. And I can't believe that there probably wasn't this huge sadness. But anyway, no, I think it is beyond criminal. I think the Academy should be embarrassed and to this day apologizing for allowing some of those nominations to happen, and they left her completely off. It was ridiculous.
I'm going to take that as a sense of personal pride, because I was like, oh, I don't know if any of these picks that I threw at you, because you're like, I have one pick, and we should let the listeners know you had one pick going into this. And I was like, I'm going to challenge you with a couple others.
Yes, but even though that does not mean I think there was not other great performances. And hers was. I mean, for me, who like has spent literally hundreds of thousands of dollars going to acting school and trying to be that and trying to find that, and for her to have no acting experience and just come in and just live that reality, I thought she was brilliant. I thought she was amazing. And there's just not a comparison.
Right. You
cannot even put Bjork Dancer in the Dark against, you know, Juliette Binoche. And you can't compare them. There's nothing even remotely ties those two levels of performance together.
So do you think the Academy was like me, where they're like, we just don't, like, this just seems like a weird Bjork thing, or they weren't even looking because it's too out of the realm?
I am convinced they weren't watching the film. I don't know how anyone could have watched that film who was a voting member of the Academy and not say she deserves to be nominated for the highest artistic prize. She deserved it.
Because so with the process, it's the actors and the actresses that are nominating for the actor roles. And then they put their people up, and then the Academy votes on the 5 nomination who should win it. So it's the actors themselves that are not doing the homework to putting Bjork up.
And dare I say, and I don't mean to be all like middle school, but I think there's probably some level of like jealousy. Like, here is this non-actor who came in and just killed it completely. I think that probably was also part of it too. Like, you're not going to come from Iceland and, making whale noises and come in and take our award. That I don't know, because again, I'm not there, but I have to believe that had something to do with it. Just the ego of American actors.
Yeah. Fuck them Iceland folk.
Well, it's ridiculous, because if you look at England, European countries, like, our acting is so thin across the board. Like, you can turn on like a show on BritBox, like a detective serial show, and down to like the coroner who's got 5 lines, the performances are exquisite. And then you come to...
Is that just the accent, though? I trust people with accents.
I don't think it's just the accent. I think it's just because people who study acting in other places study acting. It's a whole physical, all-encompassing sort of thing. It's not, my dad was a director, and so now I'm going to be a lead in a show, and I'm going to go on the chat shows, and everyone's going to think I'm hilarious.
Or I got famous on Vine, and now I have 5 million followers. And
yeah, it's a completely different just realm of artistry, in my opinion. I'm not suggesting I know it all. I certainly do not. But from what I experience, watching like Jennifer Aniston in The Good Girl, for example, that everyone's like, oh my God, she was so good, because she like wore weights on her arms while she was rehearsing so she could... Ridiculous. You do that your entire life when you're studying in Europe and when you're studying in other countries to be an actor. You don't need to put weights on because you are skilled at creating that just internally, and that's what makes it more real, in my opinion.
Well, since we are talking international actresses,
F America Cinema.
But if you want to know how to break into it, this is a good plug for the last episode of the season. I have casting director Angela Baum coming on to tell you how you could break into American film. So, but still keeping up with international actresses, there was 2 that I wanted to throw at you for the same film, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. That's Michelle Yeoh and Zhang Ziyi. I remember seeing this in the theaters. I think I lean more to Zhang Ziyi, but possibly because I had the hugest crush on her while watching this film. Why'd you tilt your head?
Oh, that's sweet.
Well, it's everything. It's because this is a classic kind of like fairy tale structure of a movie. And then at the very end, she gives her life, right? So it's a martial arts film. I think both of them, when we're talking about like Julia Roberts standing up to the corporation, these women, I think, hold their own. And there's a lot of, maybe they might hold their own in this fight. But when it comes to Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, I think you believe that Michelle Yeoh can take on a whole army of people by herself. You believe that Zhang Ziyi is the ninja on the rooftops that can kill anybody that she wants. That's one of her marks. But in the same instance, Michelle Yeoh brings to the performance a maternal instinct, kind of like a protectiveness, and Zhang Ziyi brings a innocence. She is not only a fearless killer, but she is also probably the most emotionally vulnerable one there is in her love story in the film. So both of them, I think, obviously this is March 2001. The Academy is not necessarily looking for subtitled performances. I myself until like really recently found it hard to imagine what's on the upper five, sixth of the screen because I'm reading everything at the bottom. But I think both of these performances shine through that. A lot of it because martial arts and they're not talking, so you're able to watch the film for what it is. But to me, when I'm thinking about all the performances, and I did watch 20 films of this year, these two stand out much more than like 9 of the ones that we just talked about.
Interesting. I saw it in the movie theater as well. I remember just thinking the movie was so beautiful. Like everything about it was just beautiful and breathtaking. I would agree. I wonder, in the translation to subtitles, what might be lost, because Michelle especially, like, she just, again, acting with no words, her face, like, you get it. But is it Zhang Ziyi? Could it be possible that she was subtitled better? You know what I mean? Like, what I was reading from her seemed a little more profound.
Possibly.
So
could just be the writing, though.
It could be. That's why I said I don't know if that's a thing or not. But I thought they were both outstanding. If I had to pick one, it probably would be Zhang Ziyi. But again, I don't know how much of that they did themselves. I know it was quite a bit, though. And that's incredible to become so physically and emotionally like that. It's part of it. You have to be the whole thing, physical, emotional. You have to create the character with every molecule in your person. And they both definitely did that in that movie.
And I think more to your point of like, American actors and whatnot, like the comparison would be Uma Thurman in Kill Bill and Lucy Liu in Kill Bill. And it's like, I don't think they shine a candle to these two in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
No, they are the like Julia Roberts to Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. The American watered down Walmart version of something that's really good, in my opinion.
All right, and then one more before we get to your pick. We have Tracy Ullman in Small Time Crooks. And I don't know if I have ever... One, I don't like Woody Allen. I'm going to say that because of him marrying his daughter. Or Mia Farrow's daughter, but his daughter in relation through marriage, or it's all weird. I don't necessarily believe in... I did a deep dive at all Mia Farrow's accusations. I don't necessarily believe in all of those, but the fact remains he married his daughter. So then now I'm kind of skeeved out from all Woody Allen. But I had a fun time watching Small Time Crooks, and I think a lot of it landed on Tracy Ullman. I think Ullman... A lot of what I don't like about Woody Allen is I don't think he has a knack for character voices. They all sound like him. It's the actors doing their best to make it sound more like them against his writing, I believe. And we already took away his Oscar for Midnight in Paris and gave it to Take Shelter for that year. But Tracy Ullman, as a comedian, I think she kills it. She balances the physical comedy, timing, emotional truth. But again, we're looking at the Academy Awards. They're not looking at comedy.
Which is unfortunate, by the way, because as an actor, I find comedy more difficult. But that is neither here nor there. Tracy Ullman, to me, she can just do no wrong. Like,
what other performances, if I want to go down a Tracy Ullman path, what performances should I look for?
Honestly, go back to the Tracy Ullman show from the 80s. That's where the Simpsons got started on her show. She's hilarious. Like, it's just hilarious. She most recently, what people might know, is she played Jack's mom in the movie of Into the Woods. Okay. Again, brilliant. Physically there.
I didn't like Into the Woods.
Well, you don't have to like the movie to like the performance.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I thought that Into the Woods was a very good translation for Americans who are not into theater. It was very simplified from the stage version, but it's one of my favorite musicals of all time, so I wasn't keen on the movie either. Okay. But she was very good. She was funny. She had a pop career too, you know.
Like a pop singer? Mm-hmm. Give me a song.
They Don't Know About Us. Paul McCartney was in the video. It was dope.
Sing a little bit.
They don't know about us, and they've never heard of love. That is not a good version of it.
It sounded kind of familiar, though.
But in the video, the last scene, she's like in the back of a car, and Paul McCartney's her boyfriend, and it's very cute because it's like, is she imagining that, or is that really Paul McCartney? It's very cute. Yeah, Tracy Ullman, I go back and watch the Tracy Ullman show all the time. I think it's very funny.
Is it like it's like Amy Sedaris type humor?
I don't know what that is.
It's sketch comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I was kind of like Strangers with Candy.
Okay.
But it's sketch comedy. It's not like one story like that. It is like one scene, one scene, one scene, one scene, and she plays every single character. Much like the Carol Burnett show. But I think Tracy Ullman is more talented at changing herself into the characters.
Man, we don't have shows like that anymore.
No, and that's not knocking Carol Burnett because I think she's fantastic. Also a show I watch very often.
And I don't know if I perfectly said it, but I think that Tracy Ullman does the best job of maybe anybody delivering Woody Allen's lines and making them her own, and it not sounding like you're just hearing a rehash of Woody Allen's voice out of somebody else's mouth.
Oh, I agree. I think she can break down the script and just break down the rhythm or the tempo in a very unique way. Like I said, I thought she was great. I didn't make it through the whole movie, but from what I did see the first half, she was, to me, one of the only interesting things about it.
Right. 100%.
I mean, I'm on the fence about Woody Allen. I don't think about his personal goings on, because when I'm looking at something or looking at an artist, it's like people might have done horrible things, but I'm just looking at the work and trying to look at the work and judge that. And there's not a lot of his that I find entertaining or interesting.
Fair enough.
Hannah and her sisters was great.
Annie Hall was fine.
I never saw Annie Hall.
You don't have to.
That? No?
I mean, I think Deconstructing Henry might have been up there. Midnight in Paris. It just sounded like a writer's wet dream, it's raining in Paris, and then a car pulls up. Oh, and I get to go meet Hemingway and F. Scott Fitzgerald and Zelda and hang out with everybody, Salvador Dali. I was like, oh, was this a stretch to come up with? Get bent. That was the worst.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. He did not do Bullets Over Broadway, did he?
He did.
Did he? Okay, I love that movie. That is a great movie that I love. If he did, in fact... Yeah, he directed that and wrote the screenplay. Wonderful. But again, you have a cast like Diane Wiest and Chaz Palminteri, and again, actors who have just the ability we've seen to take text and give it their own rhythm and break it down in different ways. But I did like Bullets Over Broadway very much. I mean, but I'm a bias. I love Diane Wiest and everything she does.
Jennifer Tilly.
Oh, I like Jennifer Tilly too.
But that's the problem with people like Woody Allen, and really, who knew I was going to bring this up on an Academy Awards podcast, but the new Scream that's coming out, and they have 4 lines of celebrities that they're putting in the film, and I'm like, this is going to suck.
It's going to totally suck.
Yeah, it's celebrity heavy, and I feel like Woody Allen does that with his movies, Quentin Tarantino does it with his movies, and it's you're just trying to cover something up by putting a name there. So you're like, ooh, watch Channing Tatum. Don't ignore the fact that this is horrible character development or anything like that, because I put Channing Tatum in my script, and I feel like Woody Allen does that with a lot of, do you want to see what this person looks like in one of my movies? And well, now it is. I think my favorite of his is Match Point, and that's only because it's completely unlike anything else that he's done. It was a nice turn.
I don't remember that.
That one I would recommend.
I know I know of it. I could see the movie poster, but I'm not sure I've ever seen it.
You want to talk about your lady? All right.
The Queen.
There is only one person Jenna really came here to talk about, and I rewatched the film. It was one of those films where I was like, I don't have to watch that ever again. It's so intense, and it is so enrapturing, and it is so sad, and it will always be probably the director's best film in my eyes. And I can't deny, regardless of what my top 5 is at the end of this episode, this was a swing and miss for the Academy Awards, because you're looking at Ellen Burstyn, who I don't know much about her career other than obviously the movie that I've watched the most with her in is The Exorcist. But even if you put those two performances side by side, you're watching a complete transformation when it comes to what she brought to Requiem for a Dream and Sarah Goldfarb. It is amazing that when I sat down to watch Requiem for a Dream, probably for the first time in 15 years, because again, I had a crush on Jennifer Connelly, who I still like, even though she's a hot mess in the film, I'm like, I'd still probably date her, that character. Sarah Goldfarb is such a memorable character name because of who the lived-in feeling of Ellen Burstyn in this film. And Ellen Burstyn in this film is a very singular character, but she somehow brings it to a point where she reminds you of everybody you've seen age in your lifetime. And especially when it comes to like the monologue that she has where she's like, I'm just lonely, you know, and you're like, oh my gosh, they're all lonely. Like you want to go out and you want to hug every single senior citizen who's probably just living out their last days in an apartment, wondering when their child's going to call again. And the thing about it, after you're done watching the movie, you're like, but that's not necessarily, I don't think, what Darren Aronofsky was saying at all with this, you know, because everybody in the film is dealing with an addiction. The focus of Sarah Goldfarb's story is her addiction. Everything else that you remember from the film, I think, is Ellen Burstyn's performance and what she brought to it and how she delivered the lines. And the fact that, like, almost every... I'm not an actor or an actress. I haven't spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on figuring out. I took probably 1, maybe 2 acting courses in college, but I remember getting the script and breaking down the beats and being like, this line is this emotion, this line is this emotion. Maybe I'm remembering that right. That's what you're supposed to do. With Ellen, like, I feel like she's not only breaking down her beats, she's breaking down Jared Leto's beats of how she's going to play off of his beats and everything. I can't imagine that the editor, who I don't have the name and I'm sorry for that, and Darren Aronofsky had so much to play with what she gave them. And every time the camera is on her for this performance that like, there's probably so much on the cutting room floor that's amazing when it comes to the performance. What do you love about this?
I concur what you said. Sarah Goldfarb is like everybody's Aunt Helen who comes to Thanksgiving dinner, you know, by herself, or like cousin Phil's got to go pick her up and drive her in. I definitely think that is there and present. What I think about Ellen Burstyn in general, but specifically in this movie, being an actor and breaking down beats, if you will. This is so corny and cliche, but we talk about raising the stakes in the scene. Like, you're here, and what are you going to do to raise the stakes? And that's what keeps the scene interesting and moving forward. And she could literally be sitting in her chair, not speaking words, but moving, and she's raising the stakes in the scene by herself. She's giving, like, the feeling is coming right out of the screen, and you are feeling along with her. Like you said, the isolation, the loneliness, all of that. Who else could do that? Like I was saying, you know, with Erin Brockovich, these actresses, when I think of who else do I know of who could do what she does, and I can't think of anybody. Not even Meryl Streep, who I think is a genius. Like, she could, and The Exorcist too, she can just be physically the character, facially, like without words, and you get it. She's communicating the story to you. And that is what I think as an actor is brilliant, how well you communicate the story. And when you can do that, you know, before, like she's about the game show and she's sitting in the chair and like it opens up and it gets all kind of not realistic. But prior to that, before everything gets all crazy, like you see the story, you're like writing the story in your head, and she literally is just sitting in a chair, for God's sake. It's amazing. And oh my goodness, just again, every single fiber of her being was Sarah Goldfarb. There was no, I'm watching Ellen Burstyn here. And there never is with Ellen Burstyn. She's pretty awesome. She was in that one girly girl movie, though, that I'm trying to think of. Was it the Yaya Sisterhood? Yaya
Divine Secrets of the Yaya.
Traveling Pants, whatever that was. She was in that.
That's two different titles.
I was just like, you know, Ellen, were you just like not busy that week? Like, what are you doing? But her performances, like I said, I never remember I'm watching her. I forget I'm watching an actress, and I feel like I'm watching someone. I'm sitting right in front of them watching it. And that is what I think is, for me, what makes effective performances, not just the pretty smile and the I'm going to be a sassy lawyer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's for me, realism in making something so real and so detailed that it's like down to the pinpoint of a character, not the actor. That's what I...
Well, like we're talking about with Bjork and Dancer in the Dark, like she went to, I mean, the electroshock therapy scene, you know, and that is, to me, this is why I say like Darren Aronofsky can do no better than Requiem for a Dream. And to think the critics came so hard for this. This is the only nomination that this film received was for Ellen Burstyn's performance, which is ridiculous considering the fact, I think one critic, one of at the Washington Post maybe, or somebody said it felt like a college student's film. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I watched the film a week ago and was like, this is meticulously put together. The editing is phenomenal. It's based off of a book, but even you're getting down to the nitty gritty, and you're not staying with Ellen Burstyn's electroshock therapy is going on at the same time as Jared Leto's getting his arm amputated. It was going on at the same time as Marlon Wayans is throwing up because he has to stir the mashed potatoes, the same time that Jennifer Connelly has to subject herself to sexual abuse. And it's all going on at the same time. And the fact, because I was going to say, could you make an argument that it's not for Best Actress, it's Best Supporting Actress? But there's no denying the fact that I think everybody else in the film kind of plays off of each other. They're all in the same storyline, and it's Ellen who is alone in her apartment. And it's Ellen's storyline that when you are focused on her, you're not thinking about where Jared Leto is. You're not thinking about where her neighbors are. They just kind of appear in her life. And then at the same instance, it's almost like her character doesn't change because you never think that she gives up the hope of being on well, she doesn't. Like the last beat is her on the TV show, probably in a delirium. So any other actress, I think, like you said, like probably wouldn't be able to pull off the fact that you're watching a character arc. But with her, you are, even though she's not mentally changing whatsoever. And they're just trying to the world is trying to make her change. The world is trying to make her eat. The world is trying to make her see, like, you're not going on TV anymore. And she is pushing through and trying to smile.
Yeah, it's
heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking. It's again, how does an actor recover from a performance like that? And maybe she does, but to me, it just struck so deeply. Like I said, I've seen the movie probably 5 or 6 times, not a ton, but every time I'm on the edge of my seat when her scenes come on. I'm just like watching and waiting. And a side note, shout out to Marlon Wayans, who I would never have imagined, who was pretty darn good in this movie. I had a big crush on him back in the day, but I was like, what's he doing in this movie? And he did really good. I was really impressed with his performance there. Not as much as Ellen Burstyn, of course, but when I'm like in acting class or I'm teaching acting, I'm always like, what makes a great performance is the level of detail that you have in the performance, that you have dedicated to the character. Like, I think that is, like, Julia Roberts, again, some of the times she's standing, it's like, that's Julia Roberts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's Julia Roberts.
I think even like Meryl Streep sometimes goes into does Meryl Streep things of looking over her left shoulder. It's like, well, there's Leonardo DiCaprio. I think why he won for The Revenant was because we never heard his voice crack. Because the bear attacked his throat. Like, we have actors in our midst that we give a lot of roles to that are turning in the same performance. And I think there is a reason for that. I think I do appreciate watching George Clooney on the screen because I feel like I know what a George Clooney, Cary Grant style performance is going to be laid before me. But I'll be damned if we ever nominate him for an Academy Award again. It's not the same thing with Robert Downey Jr. Never once did he make me forget that I was watching Robert Downey Jr. in Oppenheimer, but we awarded that. We have actors that are celebrities that we like to award. And I think, the Julia Roberts is one of those, the Emma Stones and everything. And then these other, and then we go, we're not going to nominate an Icelandic first timer.
So sad. It's so ridiculous.
The first time you watched Requiem for a Dream, was it in the theater?
It was not.
It was at home? Mm-hmm. Were you immediately like, that's the best performance of the year? Or were you like, I have to digest this movie a little bit?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I shut it off a few times. Like, I can't watch this. I can't watch this. I had to go back to it a few times. Yeah, as soon as it was over, the end, I was just like, I just watched what I feel is the best performance on a film or stage I've ever seen in my life by a female. And it was, I thought, amazing.
Do you follow A Take on the Academy on Instagram?
I don't.
Hey, you and all of our listeners should probably do that. I did just post a
I'm
story.
just not on the socials that often.
Copy you. I did just post a story, though, and it was a reel. I posted a reel, and the lead-in was the girl from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood whispering in Leo's ear, like, that was the best performance I've ever seen. And then they go on with all the best performances, and it's a lot. It's guy heavy. Daniel Day-Lewis, There Will Be Blood. Heath Ledger for The Dark Knight. Ellen Burstyn for Requiem for a Dream pops up, and then it's like Jack Nicholson, The Shining. Like, it's decades of performances, and yet they're like, you have to hand it to Ellen Burstyn for this performance in the year 2000.
It was outstanding. I just don't think I've ever seen anything close to that that's made me feel like that way. And obviously it could be that I have some relating to the character in some way, that I maybe don't realize entirely.
I think we all do.
But I just don't. I will say, though, when I saw Dancer in the Dark, it was like, I was like, I'm never going to watch this movie again for the rest of my life. And like I said, I just watched it over this past week and was like, I remember why I said I'm never watching this movie again for the rest of my life. It was so intense and so real, like just so real. I couldn't shake it. I was up the rest of the night because I couldn't get it out of my head and fall asleep. Not that you're only a good performer if you make people, that's not what I mean at all. I think there's a lot of value in entertainment. I think there's a lot of value in movies. Soap Dish is my favorite movie ever of all time. That's not any kind of...
That's not keeping anybody up at night.
Right. No, not at all. I think the acting is brilliant. I think the story is catchy. It's cute and, but that's what I like. So I think there's value in entertainment. I just believe that if we're going to give awards and say things like the best, and again, I'm an artist, I understand it's subjective, you know what I mean? But it was this time, it just was the most unsubjective ever. Ugh. And she had to sit there and applaud with a smile on her face when that woman got up. And did you see where she was sitting? Julia Roberts was right there in the front, and she was a few rows back. Oh, there's Ellen Burstyn back there, somebody's hand got in the camera frame when they were showing her in the audience. It was terrible. It was disrespectful. It was awful to treat an American treasure like that. Like I said, we don't have a lot of great actors coming out of America, just in other countries, in European, Errol Flynn. I don't know. But Errol Flynn. It was just heartbreaking. And the heartbreak extended beyond oh my gosh, Ellen Burstyn didn't win. The heartbreak extended to, okay, this Academy of Arts and Sciences is a bunch of baloney, and they're just here to put on a show. They're not giving people what they deserve. And so that was also a blow because I had faith. And then was it shortly around that time that Helen Hunt won for As Good as It Gets? And I was like, oh, for God's sake. And it was just downhill from there. It was I'm done. And so I do watch. I like thinking that I can pick who's going to win. I usually don't do a good job of it, but I like I bet this person will win. I still watch the red carpet before because I just love the gowns. But I just think this specific time, I'm so mad about it. I cannot get over it. I cannot have a conversation about it and not get incensed.
There is... So one, the Academy Awards is just a part of what the Motion Pictures of Arts and Sciences does for film, right? So it is just putting on a show. It's kind of almost like a fundraiser of sorts for all the other work that they do in historical preservation. And if you're ever out in LA, there's the Margaret Herrick Library where they have oral biographies, which is pretty much when people are past their prime and maybe closer to death than they would like. They have interviewers go out and just interview them about their life story and put them all in a book, and you can go into the library and read it. It's amazing. Do a lot of amazing work. The campaign process and the voting process, heavily flawed. And I hope that they fix it somewhat. They tried to inject diversity at the same time, not eliminating any voting members. So now it's like this egregious 10,000 people voting pool of people that probably didn't do homework in school, don't know how to watch movies. And then in the same instance, when you have the harder stuff, like Requiem for a Dream, like Dancer in the Dark, you have these people who, I mean, I have family that work in Hollywood, and they watch reality television because they want to turn their minds off when they get home from being on set and everything. They're watching the dumber shit, right? Like, they're watching the spoon-fed sugar so the medicine goes down. Erin Brockovich, rah, rah, siskumba, like this, you know, like, it's a very charming performance. And you have her playing off of Albert Finney, and they're saying, fuck you to each other in the office. And there's the actress everybody knows, I don't know her name, but she's also playing the secretary in that film. Mm-hmm. Like, they gravitate toward Erin Brockovich, where you even said yourself, like, it took me a couple times to get through Requiem for a Dream. And they only have December, January, February to watch whatever movies they have to watch in order to make their votes. So I can almost guarantee you that they put on the Julia Roberts film because they had a hard day at work, and that's what, you know, like their friends said they were voting for, and everybody said, oh god, that Requiem for a Dream, that was a tough one, you know, and that's what shot Ellen Burstyn in the foot.
Right. And I agree with every single thing that you said. I think it's wrong. Not you're wrong. I think that it's wrong that is the way that it is. Like you said, you hope it's never going to get fixed. Nothing is going in the direction
Oh, never say never. I have, that's why I'm doing this podcast. I have faith in that's why I'm a Cleveland Browns fan. I have faith in the potential of success.
I love that. I have no faith in people. So I think that's how I stay so positive, is that I don't have high expectations. So when someone does meet that expectation, it's like, oh, how wonderful, you know. But it just, to me, just in general, in movies, I don't see any movies being made that are better. It seems to me movies are like just chintzier and not as good as we move through time. The stories aren't as interesting. They're not as profound. It's all more just about visual everything. And so I don't see it getting better. If that's where the values are of, and I do acknowledge the work of the Academy of Arts and Sciences, but to the layperson, you know, who's just turning on the Oscars, you know what I mean? They're just watching, this is who the best actor was this year. Do you know what I mean? And I think they have a responsibility about that. And I'm sure my angst, like I said, it's from that, I don't want to say like a religion, because I am a woman of faith and I don't want to diminish that. But it was just like, this is my thing. You know, every year it's like Golden Globes. I mean, and to be just like, this is a bunch of bullshit. They don't care who's a good actor. And I think that the realization of that also was like, you know, like I said, when you found out Santa Claus isn't real.
Well, I mean,
it's just like, how dare they have tried to make me think they were so awesome, and now they're just, you know, like giving people what they want. They're not standing up for art. And I think that's what it was. And again, I was in my 20s then, so it was just like, I was all like, art, you know, art is profound, art, you know. So it was different. And I will say, if I had to put Bjork and Ellen Burstyn together, it would be very, very close.
Really? We're not there yet with like the top 5.
Oh, sorry.
But who's your favorite Best Actress winner for the Academy Awards?
Oh, dear God. Like other than Ellen Burstyn?
She didn't win.
Oh, geez.
Because I always go like my Rushmore, obviously Meryl Streep, Sophie's Choice, like amazing, completely transformative. I do believe Katharine Hepburn deserves to be one of the most awarded actresses. Frances McDormand, I always like what she turns in. And then my fourth one is always kind of like, I mean, I'm a huge Amy Adams fan. I think that she was horribly screwed over with the year that she turned in Arrival and Nocturnal Animals the same year.
It's hard for me to say. It might come to me, but that's a big question. There's like lots of
I'm going to force you to answer it because you have already shat on about 4 of them.
Can I look at a
Yeah.
list? Okay.
I truncate the silence, so this is going to it might take you 5 minutes here. It's going to take 0.32 seconds.
Okay, good.
I did have a 4th person. Vanessa Kirby, to me, is one of the most talented people now.
One performance that I think she won the Golden Globe, I thought should have won an Oscar, was Sissy Spacek for the movie In the Bedroom. She was fantastic in that.
Helen Hunt was 1998 for As Good as It Gets.
I should have known then not to expect much. You know what it was? It was Helen Hunt, then Gwyneth Paltrow.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this is baloney. But then Hilary Swank was the next year for Boys Don't Cry. And I was
Right.
like, okay.
That was a fantastic story,
Okay,
too, because she
they're-
was like straight from the trailer park and
They're bringing
Hollywood
it back.
Dream.
And then it was like the extra gut punch of now Julia Roberts. Now I was like, that is it. I have had it with all of you people. This is ridiculous. I would say probably it would be a very close race between Louise Fletcher as Nurse Ratched in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and Marianne Cotillard in La Vie en Rose.
Okay.
She was, again, just exquisite as Edith Piaf. She was amazing. But, Nurse Ratched.
And that was
man.
2008, so that was close. I mean, Nurse Ratched is 1975.
And again, that's a movie obviously I didn't see till much later, than that because I was only 1 at that time.
And then your girl
That's
won.
a performance that, stuck with me forever from the first time that I saw it. And
When you just hated her.
it was just, it was. That was it. We use Nurse Ratched as a common term for somebody who's like a mean bitch. You know what I mean? So that obviously says that was a strong performance.
Yep. And then your girl won the following year for Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore.
Yes, which not one of my favorite movies. Gotta be honest with you.
But then it kind of also falls in line with your theory that we are watering down our talent pool with Marion being a French actress and probably higher marks in class.
Exactly. And again, I completely understand. Again, some of my favorite movies, like Top 10, Soap Dish, Ghostbusters, Mr. Mom. You know what I mean? I like movies that are The Burbs is one of my go-tos. So I totally am 1,000% valid of that kind of entertainment. But I just think the Oscars should be more prestigious, and it's just a different level. And
Right.
It should be looking at artistry, not popularity. And obviously that's what it is. And I don't like it. And I just don't understand. How on earth, if I was Julia Roberts, I would have been embarrassed when they called my name. I would have been like, you know what, this must be the wrong name. I would have got Ellen from the 5th row and been like, come here in the middle, and I would have given it to her. How do you accept that when you're like, this woman gave this huge performance, and Bjork, who's sitting way back there because she's just singing a song, which, was, in my opinion, that great anyway. And then you're taking this and being like, oh, I love it up here. This is so, it nauseates me.
I feel you. And it also, when was the last time you listened to the speech that Julia Roberts gave?
Oh, not since then.
She almost
Other than the
forgot Ellen's name
3,000 times that it was on the news replaying again and again and again and on E and on, ugh.
She was like, "Oh my gosh, it's so nice to be here in company with Joan Allen and Laura Linney." And then, Ellen was last on that list.
It was just shocking and something I should get over. There's a lot more problems going on in this world.
Well, you got it off your chest.
That should be taking up my energy, but I just am not over it. I'm not over it. Never will be. And Ellen Burstyn, she's 92 now. Mm-hmm. She is 92. When are they going to make reparations and say, you know what, Ellen, we were idiots and you should have won this?
That's all this show is. We're just gonna send this to Ellen's people and be like,
Please
"This is it."
Do. She is such a, like I said, she's an actor who I can watch over and over again, and I find something else every single time. It's just the detail and the care that she puts into her work. And somebody said, what if she doesn't? What if she's just doing it? You know what I mean? We're putting so much, she does this and this is, what if she just is somebody who gets up and does it? Well, if that's the case, then good for her. Because I wish I could just get up and do that.
It would be hard to believe, though, because, I mean, it's such a visceral character that translate to the screen that I would be hard-pressed to think, like, it didn't take a lot for her to get there, and the teeth grinding and the bouncing in the chair and the constant fidgeting or the opposite of that when everything slows down and I think about, I forget which scene that you mentioned, but I think about like the doctor's thing where she's like hearing the refrigerator and she's like, and like doctor is ignoring her and she's like, somebody pay attention to me, type of thing.
Yeah.
Or just how insanely happy she is. And you just kind of feel like it's not going to happen for her, right? But she's like, she loves her son, even though we all know that he's like, that's how the movie begins, is she locks herself in the bedroom and she's like, I'm sorry, Harry, for what you got, what you're going through and everything. But you're like, but you're hiding from your son. And I think it's Jared Leto's best performance only because he's acting off of her. And she won't let another person in that scene fail. So I think it's a great pick. I think we should do our top 5 to see who our nominees are going to be. Okay. So we're going to do our list of top 5.
Okay. Starting with 5.
Starting with 5. Your 5th choice is going to get 1 point. Your first choice is going to get 5 points. And then we're going to create our own list of nominees for this year. Currently, the nominees for the 2001 Best Actress race were Julia Roberts for Erin Brockovich, Joan Allen, The Contender, Laura Linney, You Can Count on Me, Ellen Burstyn for Requiem for a Dream, and then the 5th one was Juliette Binoche for Chocolat. So let's see how ours compares to that. And with 25 more years of hindsight, do we have a better list? Which we should.
Absolutely.
Because like I said, yes, there are faults. And the biggest fault, I think, is they only give their viewers 3 months to watch these films, where we have all the time in the world, in hindsight.
Now, can I say them not in order yet?
No.
You know what I mean?
No, we're going to start with 5, and we're going to go up to 1.
I'm afraid I'm going to say something. You're going to say something. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's right. That one too. You know what I mean?
You're not going to like my number 5.
Is it Erin Brockovich?
Yeah.
Ugh. Why?
Because it was charming. I'm charmed by it. And as far as like you said, 20 other people could play the part. Yes. But I also think it was perfect casting.
I do agree. There just was not a lot going on in 2000. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm looking at these movies now and I'm like, oh, dear God. No wonder Juliette Binoche. I did like the movie Chocolat, by the way.
I did not
love it. You didn't like it at all?
No, it wasn't my fave. I liked You Can Count on Me. I didn't like The Contender. But you also have to think of the era. The Contender was going on when, women weren't. Hillary Clinton was kind of like a pipe dream in the future.
Yeah.
So I understand the place in history that it is. And to be like, oh my gosh, she had a threesome. It's like, scandal. People are having threesomes on TikTok now.
See, I'm torn. I think I'm going to put Michelle Yeoh in at 5.
In at 5? So you got Michelle, I got Julia Roberts.
Again,
5.
Is there a comparison?
Michelle Yeoh didn't even make my list.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought she was so good. And she did, because she got hurt, I remember. She did stunts. Wasn't she a stunt person? Wasn't that something she did?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, she did it again for the James Bond feature, Tomorrow Never Dies, which is funny to look back on because that's about a man who's going to create a 24-hour news cycle, and then we got CNN and Fox News.
Oh, Ellen Burstyn during The Exorcist got very badly hurt.
Mm-hmm. Well, also, who played Linda Blair? She got hurt because of the back brace throwing her around. Looking for your number 4.
I am.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm just scrolling to make sure I'm not forgetting anybody.
Tracy Ullman for Small Time Crooks. It's my number 4.
I'm going to at number 4. Okay, Minnie Driver, Return to Me, number 4.
Minnie Driver, Return to Me?
Mm-hmm. Have you seen that movie?
No, it wasn't even on our list.
Get out of here. Does it have to be on the list?
Well, for me to watch it. Tell me about Return to Me.
Are we going... I'm sorry.
No.
I'm breaking the rules.
Whatever you want to do.
I'll go back to your list.
No,
but
we don't have rules here.
See Return to Me. Oh my gosh.
If my listeners have to see Return to Me, let's talk about Return to Me. Tell me all about it.
It is one of the only
Minnie Driver, though?
It is Carol O'Connor, May he rest in peace. David Duchovny, in one of the few things I can stomach him in. Bonnie Hunt, Jim Belushi, David Alan Grier, just this cacophony of like actors we all know, but what are they all doing? Robert Loggia is in it. It's very heartwarming. It's a heartwarming film. I could watch it 100 times in a row. Like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of David Duchovny. He was really charming in this movie. And what's her face? Natasha Richardson's sister, Jolie Richardson, small appearance in the movie.
Nice. And Minnie Driver gives range.
No, but it's really just a really heartwarming performance. Like, you gotta see it.
All right. Out of left field, Minnie Driver gets 2 points.
Okay.
Number 3, I'm going Bjork, Dancer in the Dark.
That's your number 3.
That's my number 3.
I will go, is it Zhang Ziyi?
Zhang Ziyi.
Zhang Ziyi. Yeah, that was my number 3.
Why don't you lean into the mic for that one?
Zhang Ziyi. My number 3, because I do find that she was a little more captivating than Michelle Yeoh in that movie.
And I agree. That's why she's my number 2.
Yeah. My number 2 is Bjork.
Bjork with the number 2. So I would say that's a clear front runner because mine's obviously Ellen Burstyn for number 1.
As well as mine.
So she is our clear number 1 with 5 points.
Ellen!
Which then makes our nominations for the year 2000 to be celebrated in 2001, starting with Tracy Ullman for Small Time Crooks, Minnie Driver for Return to Me, Bjork for Dancer in the Dark, Zhang Ziyi for Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and then Ellen Burstyn for Requiem for a Dream, who wins the award.
I like that.
Right?
Yep, Minnie Driver's like that one that just snuck in there, and then you're like, what the hell's that movie? And then you watch, you're like, oh, that was so great.
Nice.
know?
Well, that's part of, so no matter what, when people are like, oh, fuck the Academy Awards, they don't nominate the ones that I want, the Black Panthers or anything like that, they do also shine a spotlight on some of these films that you probably would never have seen if you never heard about it on the Academy Awards, some of the more high art stuff, which are good films or at least deliver something to you. And so that would be kind of like Bjork for Dancer in the Dark, because the casual film goer has not seen Dancer in the Dark.
Oh,
they're
no.
more like me, where I was like, I don't know where Bjork ends and her character begins.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only reason why she's third on my list, and then also because I'm an idiotic male who got a crush on Zhang Ziyi and was like, I could watch her in anything now.
No, that is super respectable for sure. That is kind of like Three Billboards. Mm-hmm. That is a movie I think I would not have seen had it not come up early on as a front runner for an Academy Award.
Another Frances McDormand, but Nomadland. Would never have seen that.
Yeah. Oh, she was very good in that movie.
She was. Well, that was Chloe Zhao, who's coming out this year with Hamnet. I'm going to see that. Like, I think people kind of wrote her off because then her next film was Elementals?
I have no idea.
It's like the Marvel film or whatever, and that was
I don't
like
watch superhero films.
Oh, that was the one that happened right after Infinity War and Endgame. She had like the next film out, and of course, she just won the Academy Award for Nomadland, and Eternals is what it's called. Eternals was a limited series. If you stop watching Eternals after somebody dies and then pick it up the next day, it's great. But if you watch it as a film, it's horribly long. And I think she got a bad shake with that. But Nomadland was a good watch, and I would not have seen it if it didn't win the Academy Award. Parasite the same way. Like, it was great that they were like, oh, check out this South Korean film. It's the reason I went to see it in the theater, and I'm so happy that I did. And I think to your point earlier, our films are getting really watered down. Our films are going for our audience, and our audiences are getting further and further away from having any artistic integrity. And so I think the Academy has to award international features now because they're the only ones that are doing really good, respectable film.
I agree.
I
agree because the main goal, I mean, just in America, it's whatever capitalism, that's to make money. Nobody wants to take a risk on anything because they don't want to lose their money. And so it's just like, okay, we're going to put this in, we're going to take this out. We don't want to offend people with this because this is what's going on now. And and so that when the most important thing is money, it's never good.
Right. Well, and to speak directly to the audience, if you want them to create things that are not just sequels and remakes and everything, then stop only going to see sequels and remakes and everything. They are doing IP films because that's the only thing that you guys will leave the house for and spend tickets for. So it's our fault because they're really only making films for what we're buying tickets for.
And I think that is an extension too, because people have so much to do now. Like there's so much that people have to do in the course of a day that wasn't like that 35 years ago, that they're like, hey, I'm not going to waste my 2.5 hours and $35 for a ticket and a popcorn to see this movie. But, I know I'm going to like this. It's got Thor in it. So I'm going to go see that because I know.
Or Paddington, right?
Or Paddington 3. I can't believe Olivia Colman was in that movie. So yeah, I agree. People don't want, just in general, people are taking less risks with just, money, time, and just, do what they know is going to be good. And that is, to me, that is anti-artist. That's exactly not what artists do. They make commentaries on what's going on in the world at that time.
And I think people are scared for AI. AI is going to do the commercial work. That's it. You're still going to find your Catherine Bigelows and everything that are going to put forth the artistic stuff. Do you have anything you would like to plug for our Cleveland and or Los Angeles audiences going forward?
Gosh, if you are in the Cleveland area in December, the Cleveland Playhouse is putting on A Christmas Story, a play version of the movie. And who other than Dan Butler from Frasier fame, Bulldog Briscoe, is playing the narrator, Old Ralphie. And I happen to love him. I love Frasier, but he's done so much more. He was in the movie Enemy of the State, I think is my favorite performance he ever did as Admiral Schaefer. One of the scenes in that movie I use with my acting students. I'm like, you've got to watch this again, because it's that scene of he's sitting in a chair, but he just crushes everybody in the room. It's amazing. But he is going to be there. He's playing the lead, so we're so fortunate to have him. And that runs through December, beginning of December through Christmas at the Cleveland Playhouse. And I have very little to do with that production, but I am one of the young performer supervisors. So I go in and work with the young actors every now and then and, help them learn the biz.
Be like, put your bursting feet forward, not your Julia Roberts.
Yep.
We're very hyped on Christmas Story in this town. It's kind of like our claim to fame to the holidays.
It is. And, yeah, I mean, the movie's so fantastic, and the house, you know what I mean? So it's just, it's great.
Does the rest of the country love the movie as much as we do?
I don't know.
I know. It's one of those things where it's like, I wonder how a non-Clevelander experiences a Christmas Story.
Right. One of our theater friends lived across the street from the house.
Two of our theater friends.
And who? Oh, we probably shouldn't say their names.
Live together.
Oh, did they live over there? Yeah, okay, then four of our theater friends. From October to January, it was I'm not coming over your house because you could not get down the street. It'd be crazy. Or my car would get blocked in by visitors to the house.
Well, it's a bad neighborhood too.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's break-ins.
Well, break-ins. I mean, it's better now.
It's better now, but they were Breaking Bad 2 houses down from A Christmas Story house back in 2005.
Yeah, I remember the one day when there was 7 houses that got hit. There it goes on the news. Everybody's laptops were gone. And they're right across from the Christmas Story house. Everybody's electronics have been stolen, right during the middle of the day.
Not a bad neighborhood at all, Jenna.
But again, that was how long ago? At least 15 years, right?
Minimum.
Yeah, no, it's not bad now. It's a nicer neighborhood now. The houses are selling for a lot more money.
Everything is selling for a lot more money in this country. Oi. All right. Well, thank you. Do you feel better? Do you feel like you have had a cathartic moment with this whole thing?
I definitely appreciate that you invited me here, gave me a platform to give my opinion and think enough of me to let me do so. But the injustice will live forever. It's never going to go away.
You're always going to be salty?
Always.
What if we get this to Ellen's people and she goes, Jenna, let it go. I have.
If Ellen Burstyn spoke words to me in general, I would do whatever she said.
Okay. We'll try to set that up.
But she knows she got fucked. You know what I mean? Like, she's not stupid. She's like, this is bullshit. 92 years old. But if Ellen does hear this, Ellen, you're amazing and an inspiration.
What's your favorite Ellen Burstyn performance?
Oh, Requiem for a Dream.
Hands down. Copy you. Mm-hmm. All right. So, after revisiting the year 2000, revisiting Erin Brockovich, revisiting Julia Roberts at the absolute height of her powers, it's time to answer the question we ask every episode. Did the Academy get it right? And today, with the benefit of hindsight, and maybe with the benefit of not being swept in the Julia Roberts coronation tour, we're calling it. Julia may have owned that night. She may have owned the decade. But when it comes to the performance of the year, we're giving it to Ellen Burstyn for Requiem for a Dream. Because decades later, it's Burstyn's work that still haunts people. It's Burstyn's work that still sparks conversation. And it's Burstyn's work that represents the kind of raw, soul-shredding, career-defining acting the Academy claims to champion. Julia got her moment. And honestly, maybe she deserved it, the moment. But Ellen Burstyn gave the performance that deserves the gold. And this is a take on the Academy. So tonight, we're rewriting the envelope. Jenna, once again, I want to thank you for joining me on this one. Your insight, your passion, your Cleveland-rooted energy, all of it made this such a fun and sharp conversation. And I'm so glad. I feel like I have more ammo for poker when it comes to like, oh, I can draw more ire out of Jenna than just your cheering for everybody else who wins the pot at this table that we're sitting at right now. And thank you for being the first live guest on A Take on the Academy. And thanks to all of you for listening. If you enjoyed the episode, hit follow, leave a review, tell a friend, or even argue with us in the Instagram comments. I love a good Oscar argument. Be sure to subscribe and listen to episodes, which Jenna is going to do from this day forth.
Yes, I am. Religiously.
Thank you. And she said she's a woman of faith. So there you go. Thank you for listening. And be sure to join me for the final episode of the season. We're closing things out with a big one. Have a great night.
Who said the past can't change its shoe? Step back and rewrite the news. Golden statues, glittered lies, shuffling winners under new skies. Lights are dim, the crowd holds tight. What if wrongs could make a right? We're taking Oscars back, oh yeah. Flipping scripts, we just don't care. Julia moves, Ellen slides in, rewriting dreams, let the games begin. We're taking